Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to the Missy Money channel. I'm Missy and I'm a mom of 3 and the owner of Missy Money, a small business that specializes in minimalist and aesthetic cash stuffing essentials to help inspire and motivate you on your personal finance journey. Today's video is going to be a behind the scenes tutorial on how I film, edit, and post videos to YouTube. If that's something that sounds interesting or helpful to you, stay tuned. So as I mentioned at the beginning, this video is going to be a little bit different for me today. This is not a cash stuffing content video, but rather this is going to be a behind the scenes look at how I film, edit, and post to YouTube my cash stuffing videos. The reason that I'm doing this video is because I've had a lot of you reach out and say that you're either at the beginning of starting a YouTube channel or you'd like to start a YouTube channel and you're just not sure where to start. And a couple people have even asked me if I'd be willing to kind of share some tips and tricks on how to start a YouTube channel and how to post and film videos. Now, I do just want to say I am not an expert videographer. I'm not an expert video editor, and I'm by no means a YouTube expert as well. I've been doing YouTube videos for about four months now, so I'm just going to be sharing my own personal process, learning what I have learned either through looking up YouTube videos myself to try to learn or just through trial and error for posting my own videos. So hopefully this is helpful, but just know that this video is tailored to my specific process and there are lots of ways to do this. To that point, I use my phone to film my videos and then I use Canva to edit my videos before posting to YouTube. And so those are the things that I'm going to be demoing in this specific tutorial, but there are a lot of different video editing programs. I just find Canva to be kind of the program that I am most comfortable with from a video editing perspective because I use Canva for all sorts of things, including some product design as well. So this is going to be just kind of a peek behind the scenes into my specific process and a tutorial that explains kind of the step-by-step and some of the tricks, tools, things that I've learned along the way. And hopefully that's helpful. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the 3 things that I'm going to be covering in this video are first, how I film my videos. Second, how I edit those videos in Canva, and then third, how I post those videos to YouTube. So starting with how I film my videos. So I mentioned this at the beginning, but I do film with my phone. Okay, so this is an image of my setup that I have at home, and you can see that it's actually pretty simple. So for my cash stuffing videos, I do have my desk oriented in my home office against a window. I found that that gives me really good kind of indirect sunlight to help with lighting. And then normally I do use 2 auxiliary lights that I turn on as well when I'm doing a cash stuffing video. Now, because I don't have my envelopes or anything, I actually don't have them turned on as I'm recording this video, but normally I like that additional lighting for the videos, and I found that it especially helps with minimizing the shadows that I have in my video as well. One of the tips I would say that I learned the hard way in the beginning is that you want to get your lighting right before you start filming a video, because it's really difficult to improve or fix any lighting issues once you're in editing. So get your lighting right before you film a video is definitely something that I learned. You can also see in this image that I have kind of a holder that comes up and over to be able to hold my phone as I'm filming at my desk. I will say I do not love this holder, so I am actually saving up for kind of a standalone holder that would sit on a desk, and that's just got better functionality for where I can position it. So I would not recommend the setup that I have for what actually holds my phone, because I'm going to be shifting to something new here shortly. But you can see this is what I've been using for my videos up to this point. So when it comes to filming your video, I tend to film my video just in one straight shot. So I will film kind of front to back. And obviously there are going to be points in that video that I don't need in my finished video, but I work through all of that in editing. So if you are new to this, it will feel a little bit weird when you're first filming a video because you're kind of talking to yourself, but just know that the more you do it, the more practice you get, kind of the more natural it will come to you. And if you make mistakes along the way, you can go ahead and just pause and pick back up and fix that moment or that clip within your editing as you're editing your videos. And I mentioned this, but it is really important to get your lighting right. And so one of the ways that I have found that helps that is adjusting the exposure before I hit record on my phone. And so I'm going to go ahead and jump over and show you what it means and how you would adjust exposure. Okay, so you'll just go ahead and click into your camera, and then in the top right, if you click that little 0.0 button, you'll be taken to a place where you can adjust your exposure. So you can see if I swing my exposure up to plus 2.0, the exposure gets really light, and if I swing it down to minus 2.0, it gets really dark. I like keeping mine at 1.0 for filming. Okay, so that's the basics of how I film my video. In this portion of the video, I'm going to be going through and showing you just some basic functionality of Canva, which is the tool that I use to do video editing. Now, I will tell you that I am a Canva, I think it's called Canva Premium member, which is a subscription service through Canva that just gives you access to a lot more of their templates, a lot more of their design elements, which I'll show you as we get into actually editing a video. But they also have a lot of really great free options. So by no means do you need to be a premium member to leverage everything that you need to be able to do video editing within Canva. But I just felt like it was a good investment for me based on the functionality that I use for both my video editing, and then I do some product design within Canva as well. All right, so this is the home page. This is what I see when I log into Canva. And if I were going to create a new YouTube video, what I would just do is come over here and click on videos, and then I would select the video format. This is what I use for my long form videos for YouTube, because YouTube for those long form videos wants you to have kind of that horizontal orientation. If you were making a video for social media, you would select mobile video if you wanted that more vertical orientation. But for YouTube, I'll just select the normal video. That's going to pop open a new tab, and that helps me start with a brand new video. So the first thing that I do when I am creating a video is I need to upload my video. Now, there are a couple things that you need to know when you are uploading a video. And the first thing that you need to know is that Canva does not like really large file sizes. So what I have found is that it will only let me upload videos in like chunks that are about 5 minutes long. And when I'm recording a video, my actual video output is much longer than that. So what I typically do for this is I will go and cut down my video into about 5-minute chunks. And I tend to do those chunks based on like a subsection of the video. So for example, if you've seen my videos on YouTube before, I'll cut one chunk to be when I stuff my variable expenses. My next chunk of video might be when I stuff my long-term sinking funds. My next one will be my short-term sinking funds. My next kind of video clip will be my kids sinking fund binder, and then my savings challenges as a separate clip. Now, you can cut down, if you are recording your video on your iPhone, you can cut down your video file within your iPhone. So I'll go ahead and show you how to do that. All right, so let's say you've got your video segment and you want to go ahead and create a shorter segment from it. You would go ahead and click on that segment and then click edit, and then you would pull the size of that video on the left and then the right to whatever portion of the video that you wanted to create a separate clip from. So you would just go ahead and pull those. And then up in the done button, you're going to select save as new video clip, and that will create a shorter segment from your original video. You're going to want to do that for as many times as you need to in order to create individual 5-minute segments from your total video that you recorded. All right, so once you've got your video cut down into those pieces, then you can go ahead and upload those files. I've already uploaded mine, but to do that, you would just click upload files. You would select the files from your computer, and then you would hit enter, and they would go ahead and upload into your uploads under videos. So you can see that these segments that I've got uploaded in here are the segments from the last video that I edited. I'm just going to use these as an example as I go through this tutorial. But for this example, I'm going to go ahead and pull 2 segments over. Normally, if I were editing a full video, I'd pull them all over to do the editing. But for this in particular, I'm just showing you a couple of different elements. So I'm going to pull a couple of segments over. So this is my first cash savings challenge segment. So I'm going to just go ahead and pull that over. And then the other section I'm going to pull over just for this tutorial is my short-term sinking funds. And when I'm pulling it over, all I'm doing is clicking on that segment, and then I'm coming over and I'm dropping it where I want it to go. Now, after you drop kind of your segments over into this bar, if you need to reorder it, you can just go ahead and click on that segment and then you can move it around and kind of drop it wherever you need it. So sometimes when I drag the segments over, they don't drag over in the order that I need. So I just click that segment and then I can move it around based on wherever I need it in this kind of bottom row. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is how you kind of can cut and edit your video if there is like dead space or a section of your video where you made a mistake or you re-recorded something and you want to cut that out. So in this example, I'm just going to take this little bar. This is kind of your search bar. So if you're looking for a section of the video, you would just click this top black triangle and you drag it to wherever you want. So in this example, I'm going to go ahead and play this, and I am realizing that I've got a good couple of seconds of dead space before I'm able to bring my binder on screen. And so if I wanted to cut that out, I would just drag that blue or that black line to right before my binder comes on screen. And then I would right click on that black line and I'm going to click split page. That's going to create two sections from the time where I have that dead space to when my binder comes on the screen. And so now that I've created that dead space as its own separate section, I can click it and then delete it. So I've just cut out that dead space. The second thing that I want to share how I do is when I add an element or a subtitle to a section. So a good example of that is before I start stuffing a new binder, I will create a kind of section header that tells people what I'm doing in that section as a little bit of an intro to that section. So in this example, this is when I start stuffing my short-term sinking funds. So if I wanted to create kind of a section header, what I would do is I would again cut whatever section out that I wanted to create that header for. So I always usually like to do this when I first pull a binder on the screen. So let's say that I stopped there and I want that first kind of 5 seconds that I just watched to be my section header. I would again right click on the black bar on the bottom and then select split page. So I want my section title to come on screen during these 4.3 seconds in that section that I just created. So then what I would do is I would come over to elements and I would search for probably just a square or a rectangle, that's fine. And then I would click add this element. So as I add that element, I would just go ahead, and you can do this in whatever shape you want. You can do it in whatever style you want. What I'm doing in this example is just creating kind of a section header that goes over the entire screen. So let's say that I wanted my overlay to be purple. That's not my brand color, but just for the sake of this example, I could go ahead and make that shape whatever I wanted it to. But I also still want to be able to see the video kind of happening beneath it. So if I wanted to do that, I would click on this overlay, the shape that I've created. I would come up here to this more button, this 3 dots. Click that, and then I'm going to click this little kind of checkerboard looking icon, and that's going to be the transparency setting for this shape that I've created. And let's say I want to take that down to, I don't know, 74. You can just do whatever looks good to you. So now I've created kind of a slide or a title slide for my section header or my title. Then I'm going to go over here to text and I'm going to add a text box. And I'm just going to put cash stuffing my short-term sinking funds, because that's what I would want my title to be. And if you kind of select any element and you just move it around, Canva will pull up little lines that can show you what your center of the slide is in the video, which I actually think is really helpful. So once I create my text box, I could come up here and I could make it bigger. So let's say I wanted it to be a little bit bigger. I would just play with that size. And then let's say I wanted it to be a different font. You can come up here and select font, and then you can look at all sorts of fonts. So this is font is a good example where there are some fonts that are going to be only available to premium members. So anytime you see any element with this little crown next to it is going to be when that is a font that's only available for your premium membership. But as you can see, there are a ton of fonts that are available to you, even if you don't have that membership. So again, you totally don't need it, but it's something that if you want access to kind of all the different elements within Canva, might be worth it for you. So let's just say I'm going to select yes of a 1. And now this, it has become my title slide for this section. So if I just go ahead and play the video to see how that's coming to life, you can see that my video is playing underneath it before it goes to my video. Now that kind of transition from that sub header to the rest of my video in this section was really kind of harsh because all of those elements came off the screen once that portion of the video was done playing. So I just want to be able to smooth out that transition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select both the purple shape, and then I'm also going to select the text box, and I just do that by clicking Shift and select. The other way you can make sure you're selecting both elements is just by dragging, kind of clicking your mouse and then dragging over all of your elements. But you're going to want to make sure both are selected. Then once you've selected both elements, you are going to come over here to animate, and you can choose some sort of motion to animate those elements. I typically use the motion fade, and I have it fade on both enter and exit, which means that it's going to fade in and then it's going to fade out of that clip that I've created. You can do all sorts of different motion graphics though. So if you wanted it to come up from the bottom, you could select baseline. If you wanted it to come out from the middle, then you could select breathe. There are all sorts of different motions that you could select. I just typically default to fade. And like I said, I usually have it fade on both the enter and exit. So now if I go back and play this section, you can see how that comes to life. So just a much kind of smoother, nicer transition between those two sections. Okay, so there may be times where you are talking about something in your video and you want some sort of element to come up on the screen during your video. So let's say that I know a lot of folks use kind of different receipt scanning programs, and sometimes they'll want to put their referral code up as they're talking about whatever program that they're talking about, or there's a text certain overlay that they want to have during that video. You would create that in a very similar way to creating a section subheader. So the first thing that you'll do is you'll scroll to whatever point in the video that you want that text to pop on the screen. So let's just say that I start talking about whatever subject needs an element right here. And then let's say that I stop talking about that topic right here. So again, all I'm doing here is moving that black line to where I want it to end, right clicking and clicking split page. So that means that during this 15-second segment, this is where I want something to pop on the screen that is referencing whatever I'm talking about in my video. Now, if it were just, I needed, a referral code or a text box or some words on the screen, I would just come over here to text, add a text box, and I could drag that text box to wherever I wanted it to be. I could make it smaller and, well, maybe not that small. And then I would just drag it over here and I could enter, UX U5 CY to 8, if that was my referral code or whatever it was, whatever text overlay you wanted during this section of the video. And again, you can kind of move it wherever you want and put it wherever you want. You could change the size, you could change the font if you wanted to, but that's how you would add a text overlay. Now, the same thing happens when you add something if you don't add an animation. So if I were just to play the video now, that pops up on the screen once I get to that section. And then at the end of the section, drag it a little bit So we're not waiting for 15 seconds. At the end of that section, it's going to pop off. And maybe you're okay with it just appearing and not appearing like that. Again, if you wanted to smooth that out, all you would do is you would select that element and then come up here to animate, and you could give it some sort of motion effect of either fading on screen, maybe it wipes on screen, pops on screen if you want to create a little bit more motion so it draws the eye over there. Whatever you want to do to it, you can just decide on whatever animation that you wanted to have. The same thing would happen. Let's say that it wasn't text, it was a picture that you wanted to pop on the screen during this portion of the video. It works exactly the same way. So I've already created this segment. If I wanted a specific picture to pop up, and it's a picture that I already had, I would just come over here to uploads, and I could upload that image from my computer to have it under my images. Now, let's say that the image that I wanted to put during this section was this one that I've already uploaded. I could just click on that image, and then I can move it around to wherever I wanted it to be. Again, if I wanted it to fade in, I could come over here to animate and click fade, and then it would fade during this portion of the video. I think that this is particularly useful if you are showing an image of a website, or you're telling a story and there's an image that goes along with it. For example, a couple of videos ago, I was talking about how our family does group Halloween costumes. And so I uploaded our group Halloween costumes and had those appear on the screen as I was talking through that story, just to give it a little bit more reference and visualization. So that's an example of how you would upload an image to appear again during a certain section of the video. Now, if you have an image in mind, but you actually don't have that image, one of the things that you can do is you can search Canva's database for different elements. And so if you come over here to elements, you can come down over here to photos, and you can search for photos. So let's say that I wanted an image of a stack of cash for whatever story I was telling. I just searched stack of cash, and it brought me all of these different options. You can search anything, and I will tell you, I have found that their image library is super, super extensive. Now, the same thing applies here, where some of these are going to be for this pro premium subscription only. So you can decide if that's right for you to invest in, but there are also going to be lots of free options. If you just scroll through, there are lots and lots and lots of options. And again, their image search, I have found, works really well. So if you wanted to add an element, but you didn't have a specific picture, that's another thing that you can come to, is just the elements section. There are all sorts of different elements that you can add. So they also have stock videos you could add. They also have an AI image generator. You could type in kind of a description of an image, and Canva will create the image with AI. This is also where if you had a graphic, so let's say that I, in this section of the video, wanted to point out my cash tray, I could search for an arrow. That's a recent search that I did, which is why it's showing up here, but I could go to graphics, see all, search for an arrow, and then I could have an arrow that comes on screen and points to my cash tray during this section. And I can move that around. I could spin it around. Whatever you want to do, this is a really great place. This elements section is another really great place for you to come and look for something that you might want to insert into a section of your video. So that's how you'd add an element or a text overlay or something to your video if you had a certain section of the video where you wanted to do that. All right, so the next thing I want to share how to do is what you would do if you wanted to create sort of an intro section for your video. So on my videos, a lot of times I will start directly with my voice, just introducing myself, talking a little bit about Missy Money, and then sharing what somebody can expect to see in the video ahead. Then I will typically transition into what I call a YouTube intro. And it's just a little bit kind of a title slide that sets up a title for the entire video as a whole. And so to do that, the best way to get a YouTube intro in your video is to go to design up here on the left, and then search video templates for YouTube intro. So as you can see, Canva has a ton of pre-designed templates for a YouTube intro. And a lot of them, again, are on the Pro, but there are some really great free options as well. And as I start scrolling down, you can see that there are going to be so many options for you to choose from. Now, a lot of these will have motion and video as part of them. And if you want to see what that looks like, you can just kind of hover over and it'll kind of give you a preview into what how the title comes to life. So I'm just going to search through here to try to find one that I think I might like for this example. All right, so I found one that I like. And before I click on that, I need to create kind of a blank page for that title card to be in. So in order to do that, I am just going to hover between two sections of my video. And if I just without clicking, if I just kind of hover my arrow there, this little plus sign appears. And if I click that plus sign, then I've added a page. Now I want this to be at the beginning of my video, so I'm just going to move this right over. And now I've created a section for this intro to go. So if I just click on that section and then click on the template that I want, then that template gets put into that part of the video. So now I have this template for me to begin customizing for a title card for my video. So let's say that I want the title to be cash stuffing. I want it to stay on one line. So I would just pull kind of the size of this to make it a little bit bigger so it stays on one line. And let's say this was for my September number 2 paycheck. And let's say that I wanted to put my brand here. So I would just put Missy Money here on the bottom. Now you can move any of these elements around. So just because it comes as a certain template, you could move it if you'd like. You could, again, change the fonts on that. So you could just highlight all of these. And if you wanted to change the font, you could do that as well. You can make it bigger, smaller. All of these individual elements are also able to be edited to make it custom to what you want. But I think a template as a starting point kind of helps give you an idea and might give you a little bit of a start creatively to see how you want your title to come to life. So the other thing that I will want to change is it doesn't really make sense for me to have a nature video as the background of my card. So what I oftentimes like to do is just pull one of my video clips in as the background to my title card. So if I come back up to uploads and come to my video uploads, so I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to select a segment that I want to become the background of this video. In this case, because there's already a video here and it's a template, what I can do is if I click that segment and I come over here and just hold it over this video, it will replace that video. So if I now let go, that video has become the replacement for the placeholder video that was in there. And that is now the background of my title card. Now, because the video that I dragged over here was 3 minutes and 29 seconds, it has extended that video card to match the length of that clip. And I don't want my title card to be 3 minutes and 29 seconds. So in this case, what I would do is I would come up here, I would click this section, I would come up here to this little trim button, and I'm going to pull this down to however long I want it to be. So let's say that I only want my intro to be about 8.5 seconds. I could come and clip it, and now this is just going to be 8.5 seconds. And I'll be done editing. The other thing that you're going to want to make sure that you do is if your video clip has audio to it and you don't want that audio to be playing during, again, your title card entrance, you want to mute that audio for that clip. So you would just come over here and click the audio button and then click this mute button. And that way your voice of kind of talking over during the video won't be playing during this title card introduction. So now if we come to back to the front of the video, I've edited this video, and you can see how now that title card comes to life with the video that I've placed behind it. All right, so that gives you an example. Again, I hope this goes without saying, but purple is not really my brand vibe. This title card isn't really my brand vibe, but again, I'm just using quick examples to help illustrate how the functionality of this all works. In reality, my personal style is a little bit different than what I'm putting into this tutorial, but I just want to make it so it's easy for you to follow. During the intro, what I like to do is usually add a bit of music to just that intro card. For the rest of the video, I choose not to put background music behind what I'm saying because I personally find that to be a little bit distracting. But if you wanted to have background music going through your entire video, that's an option as well. So if you wanted to add audio over a certain section of your video or over your intro card that you've just created, you would come over here to Elements and scroll to audio and click see all. And I might search for intro music. But if you wanted to preview what something sounded like, you could go ahead and just click the play button. If you hover over the little square, you could hover over it and just click the little play button and see if that's something that feels like it's a good intro for you. Now, the one thing I like to look for is copyright-free music, because if you are posting onto YouTube, you're going to want to make sure that any elements that you're using within your videos, specifically music is where this typically comes into play, is copyright free. So let's say I played this light and dreamy intro. I really liked it. I would come over here to the 3 dots. And if I click that, I see that it is free and commercial use is allowed, meaning that I can use it and it's copyright free. So if I wanted that, what I would do is I would come over to my video and I'm going to click, I would come over to my video and I'm going to click where I want it to start. So I'm just going to, again, drag this little line to indicate where I want it to start. Then I would just click light and dreamy intro. And as I clicked light and dreamy intro, it popped it in starting at the beginning of my title card. Now, right now, that light and dreamy intro is 10 seconds. So it goes beyond where my title card ends. And so I might want to take that sound and then drag it back to end when that title card fades off screen. If that creates kind of a hard jarring stop to the music, one thing you might want to do is come up here to audio effect and then tell it that you want it to fade out so it doesn't have a hard stop to the music. So that's one way to solve if you've created a hard stop by cutting your audio, is to create a fade in or a fade out. And again, that's just under audio effects up here. So that is how you would add an audio track to a section of your video. So the last thing that I want to demo is what you would do if there's a section of your video that you want to speed up. So a good example of when that happens for me is when I am filling in symbols on my savings challenge tracker. So typically when I fill in my 12-month savings challenge, this is a really good example. I will oftentimes have a lot of symbols that I'm coloring in at the same time. And if I don't speed that up, it can be a little bit slow to watch. And so if I wanted to speed up a section, again, I would drag my black triangle to wherever that section starts, and I would right click and split the page. And then I would drag that symbol to wherever that section ends. So it looks like right there is when I'm done coloring in symbols. Again, I'm going to right click and split the page. So now I've created this 57-second section of my video where all I'm doing is coloring in symbols. And so I want to condense that down and speed it up. So what I would do is I would click on that section of the video, and then I'm going to come up here and select playback. And I'm going to move that video speed up to 2x. And as I did that, you can see that section of the video went from being 57 seconds long down to 28 seconds long because it's now going in 2x time. So that's how you would create or speed up a section of the video if you wanted to speed it up. So that is it. There is so much more that you can do in Canva. There is so much more. But for the purposes of this video and just getting started with creating videos, I think this covers kind of the basic functionality of editing a video. All right, so let's say that your video is done. You've created all the edits that you want to create. Now you're ready to upload to YouTube. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to download your video. And so you would come up here to the top corner and click share. You're going to click download. And then you're going to click the quality of video that you want to download. Now, I personally would just download the highest quality that you can download. If you are on a free Canva account, I believe that that's going to be 1080p. If you've decided to upgrade to the Pro version, then you can slide this over and download 4K. Either one of those quality is going to be a high quality video for YouTube. So either one is, again, okay. And then you're going to want the MP4 video file type when you download. You're going to want to download all your pages, and all that means is of all the sections you're created, it's just going to smash it together to create one video. So you're going to have all pages selected, and then you're just going to click download. And then you can see Canva is going to give you a progress bar so you can see how long it's taking to download your video and know when it's finished. All right, so now my download has completed. So next I'm going to go over to YouTube. And if you have not signed up for YouTube Studio, you will go ahead and want to do that. I'm already signed up for your YouTube Studio, so this is going to assume that you have done that. But if not, you can sign up to YouTube Studio. So in order to get to YouTube Studio, I'm just going to click on my little picture up here and then click YouTube Studio. YouTube Studio is essentially just your creator hub. So as a YouTube creator, this is kind of your home base for all things video, uploading, analytics, all of the things. So you can see here's my homepage for my channel dashboard. I'll show you a couple things about this on the back end that I think are really helpful when you're uploading videos. But if I wanted to upload a new video, I would come up here and click my create button. And then I'm going to select upload videos. So I'm going to go find that file that I just downloaded. I'm just going to go to downloads and I'm going to click on the file that I just downloaded. And then it is going to upload that video. So as it's uploading, you can see down here, it is uploading the video and it's giving you a time estimate for that video to be uploaded. While it's uploading that video, I can go ahead and start typing in the information and telling YouTube the information about this video. So let's say that this was my September 2nd cash stuffing, and that's what I wanted the video title to be. Then in this video, I will be cash stuffing for the 2nd week of September. This description section is also where you might want to link to a referral code. You might want to put, if you are a Missy Money ambassador, this would be a great place for you to put your individual ambassador link for people to click on. Or if you are an ambassador and you wanted to put your discount code in here, that's also something that you can put in the video. So for example, I could put something like for 10% off at missymoney.com, use code Missy10 as an example. Again, you can put whatever you want in your description, but usually what I'll put in here is a short description of the video. I'll also sometimes put hashtags in here. So something like hashtag cash stuffing, and I'll click that. So you can put hashtags in here, you can put codes, you can put links, kind of anything you want in this video description, you can go ahead and do. All right, so now you can see that my video has uploaded and now YouTube is checking my video. And this check is essentially a copyright check. So it is just going through and seeing if it can find any elements that are copyrighted and that would enable me to not upload the video. So that is, again, back to when we selected music for this video. That's why you want to make sure that you are selecting free commercial use, copyright-free music, is because YouTube does that check and won't let you upload a video that has any elements that are copyrighted. Now, the next thing that you will need to select is your thumbnail. Now, as YouTube is going through and processing the video, eventually you will see a couple of auto-generated thumbnails pop up here, and you can select one of those auto-generated thumbnails that YouTube comes up with. I always like creating a unique thumbnail, and again, I do that on Canva. So if I come back home to Canva, if I wanted to create a thumbnail for a video, I would start by coming into this search your content in Canvas, and I'm going to select Canva templates, and then I would select YouTube thumbnail and search for YouTube thumbnails. So when I do that, you can see that all sorts of different thumbnail designs pop up. And so I could select any of these. So I'm just going to select one really quickly. I'm going to customize this template just to show you how it works. So over here, I might do something like my cash stuffing. And then down here, I would do Missy Money. And then maybe down here I do number, or I do September number 2. And I want to make that a little bit smaller and move it down here to the corner. And then I just don't want this image of the sweater in the background, so I'm going to come up here to my uploads, my images, and let's say I wanted this image instead. I would just come over here and drag it over here until it gets replaced. And now I've created my thumbnail for this video. And then I'll come up to share and I'll click download. And for a YouTube thumbnail, you are going to want this PNG file, and you are going to want the size to be this 1280 by 720. So in this case, you wouldn't change any of the defaults for downloading the image. And then I would just click download. Okay, so now when I come back over here, I can click upload file. And then I just go to my downloads and I can double click on that thumbnail that I just created. And now you can see that the thumbnail that I created is now showing up as the thumbnail for my video. So then I would come down here, and one of the mandatory questions that you need to answer is if this video is made for kids. Mine is not made for kids, so I would select more. Now, there are a whole other host of options that you can enter. So if you click show more, you can enter a bunch more information about this video. I tend to not do that. I actually will just answer the questions that are mandatory. But if you want to go through and tell YouTube more about the video, more specifics, you can go ahead and do that. Next, I will come over to video elements. Now, let's say that there's a section of your video where you reference another video and you want somebody to be able to quickly click on that other video. Sometimes in my videos, I will say, hey, if you have any questions about using credit cards within the cash stuffing system, you may want to check out my tutorial on that. So if that was the case and I wanted to link to that video right on the video itself, I would come down here to add cards and I would select add. And then I'm going to select video. And let's say that I wanted to link to my last shop update because there's a portion of this video where I mentioned some new products from my shop update. Next, I would come up here and I need to enter in the minutes and seconds where that mention comes up and where I want this link to show up in my video in this upper right-hand corner. So let's say I mentioned a new product at minute 3, second 12. I would just come up here and do minute 3, second 12 and click save. And then that video card will pop up during that 3-minute, 12-second mark and link to that shop update videos. And then next, it is going to take you to this check screen. On this copyright check, it says that no issues were found. Again, that's what showed up at kind of this bottom piece. And then you're going to click next. So on visibility, this is the last screen for uploading a video. And this is where you are going to tell YouTube how you want your video to publish. So if you make your video private, that means that only you and people that you share this link with, this video link, will be able to see the video. The other option is public. So this just means that anyone can watch your video, and it gives YouTube the ability to post your video on the front page of YouTube, or if somebody searches, let's say they search for cash stuffing, your video and your thumbnail might pop up in those search results for cash stuffing. If you are starting a YouTube channel, I think you would always want your video to be public, especially if your goal is to gain video views, gain subscribers, and grow your channel over time. You're going to want your video to be public. Now, you can set, if you select public and then click publish, that video will go live right away. But let's say that you've done all of this work and you don't want your video to go live until later. You could come down and click schedule and then select a date and time that you wanted your video to publish. And then you would come over here and select schedule. Now, this is not a real video, so I'm not actually going to publish this video, but that's how you would upload your video and either schedule it or set it to post. All right, now you might be wondering, gosh, when should I post my video? I have no idea when I should post my video. And I will tell you, typically what YouTube sees, there are all sorts of great articles on this. You can Google it on when is the best time to post on YouTube. And typically what you will see within those articles is that the weekend days are the best days to post on YouTube. I think usually it's like 11 to 3 p.m., 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. is what they will tell you best practices. But if you start posting videos with any sort of normal cadence, you are going to start to get really powerful information about how your videos are performing. I'm not going to do a deep dive into channel analytics because there is so much within your analytics that you can go through and see how each video is performing, how much time on average viewers are spending with your video, what percent of viewers are watching your video to completion. There's all sorts of data that you can dig into that I think is really helpful for understanding what videos are doing well, what videos are not doing as well, and helping you understand which types of videos are gaining traction so you can make more videos that are like the ones that are doing the best. So again, if there's interest in that, let me know and I could potentially do a video on that, but I'm not going to spend a ton of time there. But the one thing I do want to show you is under analytics, if you click over to audience, there is a really helpful feature under audience that tells you when your specific viewers are more active on YouTube. So if you scroll down and come to this box that says when your videos are on YouTube, you can see that for my specific audience, my audience tends to be very active on Sunday between 12 and 9 p.m. and then also on Saturday between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. But I also have a lot of viewers on YouTube during the weekdays, just later in the evening. And so if I had multiple videos to post in a given week, I might choose to post my core video every Sunday. But if I had an additional video, like this one's going to be an additional video, and I wanted to post that on a Thursday, I would just come over here and it looks like 6 o'clock p.m. would be a good posting time for me because that's when a lot of my specific audience is on YouTube. Now, this isn't going to populate until you've had several videos and you've started to gain a little bit of an audience, and then it'll start to give you insights about your audience specifically. But this is a really rich kind of place that you can come look and see when should I be posting my videos. All right, so that is how you upload a video onto YouTube. All right, guys, so that's it for this video, this tutorial of how I film, edit, and then post my videos to YouTube. I hope that this was helpful, especially for those of you that have reached out about it specifically, and special shout out to those of you that are Missy Money ambassadors and wanting to start your own channel to start documenting your own personal finance journey. Just know that I'm rooting for you, and I know it seems a little bit overwhelming when you're first thinking of starting a channel, but you can do this, and if you just jump in and kind of stick with it, you will find that it gets easier and more rewarding over time. And to everybody that is following along on their own personal finance journey, as always, I wish you a simple budget, a calm mind, and a happy life. Thanks for watching.